Hey, recruiter here. You know, your typical job interview is a pretty stressful experience. You gotta get dressed up. How's it fit?
Good.
You have to smile and pretend to like these strangers with bad breath and too much cologne or too much perfume. You have to get in the car and drive somewhere you've probably never been before. You have to worry about traffic. You have to worry about parking. If you're interviewing over video, that presents a whole different set of stresses and challenges. But, there is one particular type of job interview that when it comes to stress level, takes the cake. It looks an awful lot more like a courtroom trial than a job interview. It's also the preferred method of US military promotion boards. If you haven't guessed, I'm talking about panel interviews, where one candidate meets with multiple interviewers at the same time. This can be done live in person or over video, but regardless of the format, it is an extremely challenging and stressful form of interviewing that, if you're not careful, will have you tongue-tied in knots and tripping over your own feet. Luckily for you, not only have I been a recruiter for close to 20 years now, I also was a non-commissioned officer in the United States Army and have been through promotion boards multiple times. So let's put our big boy and big girl panties on and crack this walnut open, see how we get it done. Did you know that 98% of the views on this channel come from visitors, not subscribers? That's great. I'm so thrilled to have you here, and I really appreciate you taking your time to watch one of my videos. Please subscribe. Click the bell, and this way you'll know when a new video is posted, you'll never miss another upload, and you'll get the tips and tricks before anybody else does.
Hello, I'm here for the interview.
Ah, yes, we've been waiting for you. Please, follow me. Let me introduce you around to some of the other team members. This is Emerald. She does accounting and finance. She's a little flighty. This is Lino. He's VP of sales. He was out with some clients last night. Looks like it was a rough one. This is Joey, our chief of security. He's a little high-strung. This is Beowulf. He's retiring on Friday. Panel interviews are an absolute train wreck. I mean, seriously, who thought it would be a good idea to make one candidate meet with multiple interviewers all at the same time? They're set up to be particularly stressful, usually with the candidates sitting on opposite sides of the table from the interviewers. Sometimes, they even want you to get up and make a presentation in front of this group. Who thinks that's a good idea, right? Am I right? Actually, there are a lot of reasons to do panel interviews, and for the most part, they benefit the candidates, even if it doesn't seem that way at the time. Number one, it speeds the process up. You meet with all the necessary interviewers at once. There's no need to come back for second or third round interviews. Number two, the hiring managers all hear the same answers to the same questions. This makes it a much more fair and consistent process. Number three, all the candidates are asked the same questions. This eliminates the possibility of one candidate getting extremely hard questions and another one getting complete softballs. And number four, the debrief session usually happens right there on the spot, which again speeds up the process. That's a good thing.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. We'll let you know.
Alright, I admit that none of these actually make the process any easier for you, but proper preparation can make the process easier for you, and I'm going to show you how. To prepare for a panel interview, you need to prep physically, mentally, and be ready to actually execute on that preparation. Do all of these things and you will succeed, I guarantee it. Fail to do any of them, and I'm sorry for you because it's just not going to go well. What exactly are you doing there?
I'm preparing for my panel interview.
And how exactly is Crunches going to help you?
You said I had to physically prepare myself.
I think you've taken me far too literally. But keep doing what you're doing. Physical preparation for an interview is not about doing push-ups, it's about getting yourself ready physically. That means getting your clothes ready, whatever suit you're gonna wear, shirt, tie, blouse, pants, you name it, have it ready to go on a hanger. Having already been to the dry cleaner, keep it in the plastic, keep it in your closet, and keep it ready to go. Having multiple copies of your resume printed out on decent paper with good ink ready to go. Having your questions to ask the interviewers ready. Having the route to get to the office mapped out, or if it's a video conference, having already tested your equipment, making sure that you're able to log into the video chat system, whatever that might be, and that your audio and camera is working. So how do you mentally prepare for a panel interview? Well, I can tell you this, the number one fear that most people have, even a greater fear than death, is public speaking. So what that means is at a funeral, you'd rather be the person in the casket than the one giving the eulogy. Well, a panel interview is all about public speaking. Whether you're facing 2 interviewers or 4 or 5 or 10, you are essentially going to be speaking in public. And in order to do that, you need to rehearse. Public speaking is not easy, but it is something that we can all get better at with practice. This is not a video about public speaking. I guarantee you there are literally millions of videos on YouTube that can help you improve your public speaking. Just know that from the recruiter's point of view, you need to be rehearsing. Practice answering the common interview questions you expect to get in the mirror or with somebody at home. I guarantee doing a little bit of prep work, a little bit of practice is going to make it so much easier. Alright, so we've talked about the mental, we've talked about the physical, let's talk about the execution. Panel interviews are specifically set up to make you uncomfortable. Sometimes the interviewers actually act, right? They play a part to try to make you uncomfortable. Don't let the discomfort of the situation frighten you. Instead, lean into it. Keep repeating in your head, you can't crack me, you can't make me sweat. I am not going to give in to this. Go ahead, make it difficult. I'm gonna just keep plowing ahead forward. By repeating those kind of mantras to yourself and remembering that the chances are the hiring manager is putting on an act, you'll do fine. When it comes to the logistics of the panel interview, it doesn't really matter who asked the question. You are addressing your answer to everybody, each individual interviewer. How do you do that? By making eye contact. Don't fixate on the individual that asked the question. Certainly make eye contact with them first, but deliberately move your focus from one interviewer to the next, 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 and back to the individual that asked you the question. Angle your body to face the interviewer who actually asked you the question.
Like, I get all nervous and I can't answer any of the questions. Like, I'm a footballer and I get nerves.
Make sure you have enough copies of your resume for everyone. This can be tricky. You never actually know how many people are going to be in the room. It's always a good idea to have 5 to 10 copies. If there's more interviewers than that, you could be forgiven for not having that many copies on you. If you're presented with business cards, make sure you pick each one up individually, look at it, and spend a second or two with it before moving on to the next one. In Japanese companies, the exchange of business cards is an extremely important tradition, and it is highly important that you pick up each individual business card, look at it, and make a comment on it. What a pretty color blue that is, before you move on to the next individual's card. Ask for water, even if you don't want to drink it. Having water in front of you is really helpful on a panel interview for a couple of reasons. Number one, you're going to be talking a lot more than usual, so it's helpful just to wet the whistle to have a drink of water in front of you. But also having water gives you a minute to think when you need it. If a question comes up and you need a minute or two to think about it, pause and take a drink of water. That might buy you the few seconds you need to answer it properly. So if you need to think, take a drink. If you need to think, take a drink, oh, that's good. Wait a minute, just give me a second while I make this a meme. I like that. When you conclude a panel interview, you need to acknowledge each individual interviewer. Now, in days gone by, that would be with a handshake. But we live in the time of COVID, and handshaking is not in style these days. Now, you could do the Wuhan shake, or you can just do an air fist bump or a wave, just some sort of acknowledgement to each individual interviewer, no matter how junior they seem compared to other people in the room, even if they didn't ask you any questions. If they were there, acknowledge them by name. That was exhausting. And now that you're on your way home, you're done, right? Not yet. I just did a panel interview with 9 different interviewers. I don't really need to send 9 thank you notes, do I? Each individual, again, needs to be acknowledged with a thank you email. Every person that was in that room is going to have a vote. so it's important that you acknowledge each one individually. So now that the thank you emails have been sent, officially your panel interview is complete. You survived. You did it. See, wasn't that difficult after all. It really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm when you subscribe, click the bell, and watch another video immediately after this one. Studio. Studio.